Alright guys, I'm back on the four-wheeler project here. After getting it running the other day, I noticed that when you put this thing in gear, it won't stay in gear. And first gear is the only thing it has. To ride it, you would have to literally hold it up in first gear all the time. So obviously, the guy we got this off of said he had put a shifter rod in it. I don't know whether he did it good, did it right or not. So obviously it's not working. So we're going to pop the case off. We're going to take a look inside there and see what's broken in there or what's missing, if we can figure it out. I do know typically from prior units that I've had before that a bent shift fork, bad spring could cause this, not being assembled correctly could cause this, or missing parts. So we're going to pop this case off here now and see what she looks like inside. Alright, we're going to take this and just kind of easily pass on this. Like a couple of bolts. Grab that one there and put them in the bag. Alright, you can see inside this unit right here. This has evidence of water being inside this block. So probably when they put this case back on, they did not torque it. It sat outside and it's got water in it. We're not going to use this case. We're going to take the case off our donor motor because it's in far better condition, well, on the outside basically. But we will clean this up and keep it just in case, you know, something ever happened to the other case. Alright, let's take a look at this here. Set that over there. Yeah, all this right here is going to have to really be cleaned up. We'll have to order us a gasket. Alright. I don't see anything immediately that jumps out to me. The spring looks like it's intact. Aha. Let me put this back on. I'm going to bring you guys down close. Alright guys, got you in here close now. I'm going to show you this setup right here. I'm going to have you hold the camera action and I'm going to pull this out right here. Get a clean plate here to set this down as I pull stuff off. You kind of want a clean surface to set this stuff on as you pull it out. So I'm going to lay this, well, I'm going to use this rag. Let me grab another rag right quick. This right here, this little ball bearing piece comes off like this and this. Now as you take this stuff off, you want to be mindful of how it comes off because it's got to go back the same way. Alright, now you can kind of get in here and see this spring right here. This spring is not exactly on there the right way. Now that could be the issue with this thing shifting into gear. I mean, right out the gate, I see that problem. So we need to rectify that problem, and as we rectify it, we'll check this other stuff for bends, cracks, stresses, or anything else that may be an issue. But that for sure is a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ease this off right here, and this spring will come back with it. Should come off with it. Alright. Take a pair of over here. See if I can't fish it out from behind. It's jammed up under that basket clutch. I'm hoping that we don't have to take that basket clutch out of there. It's definitely got her hung. Try to work the spring off the back of this piece. There we go. Okay. Now if you'll notice, I'm putting this stuff right back the way it comes out, so I'll know exactly how it goes back in here. Alright, now you can see the spring. Let me dry it off a little bit. This spring does sit in here. They had it in like this. This is how they had this in here. It's not right. The way that this actually goes on this pin right here is this is to be opened up. Let me grab a flathead screwdriver and I'll show you how to open it.
We got a flathead like right there.
Okay.
Somewhere right there.
Well, not anymore, we don't.
Oh wait, no, it's on the.
That's right here.
It's on the wheel, yeah.
If you're messing with this stuff, you want to clean your tools off good before you start. So you want to get this in there like that, pry it up, and then it should go on like this. Now this thing, I'm not going to lie to you, this can be very aggravating right here. You got to get that. Let me go up top right here and get it towards the end. You know, I may need a daggum bigger flathead. Let me try that. Alright, I got the monster flat. This is the king cobra of my screwdrivers over there. So we'll see if this will do the trick. We're going to go in between the forks. Oh yeah. Right there. Now that's how that's supposed to go. Now that looks right there. Now these parts here, I'm going to flip these over because that's how they go back in. This part's first, and that spring, it actually rides right here. So we've got to get this back on. Alright, it looks like it slipped right up on there. Okay. Then your ball bearing set like that. And you see this notch cut out? That's for this pin right here. Now here's the bad thing about all this. We don't know that that's the only thing wrong. We don't know. So, I mean, we We really should go and inspect this a little farther, and I think we're going to. I really just wanted to show you exactly how that went back together. So now we're going to disassemble this again, and we're going to look a little further for more problems. But I'll tell you, this right here is a common mistake. I mean, anybody can do that and make that mistake. I'd like to be able to see up in behind that. I don't see any damage to the shift fork. The small spring right here is in good shape. This looks like it's where it's supposed to be. I don't really see anything else that just jumps out to me. But I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and put this back together. The axle's going to clean all this crap up right here. And then we're going to put this case back on. And what should happen after we put that case back on, we should be able to roll this motor back down and physically hand shift this thing into gear. Because before it was not physically going into gear at all. I'm hoping that we could get this shaft back here should turn, and then when we click it in gear, it should lock up for its gear. So we're gonna go that route. I'm just gonna have him clean every bit of this up, and when we come back, we'll show you all this gasket will be gone, all this old motor will be out of here. We're gonna order a new gasket. We'll have to order another oil seal, and then once we get those parts in, we'll put it together for a final assembly. But for the time being, I'm just going to have him clean all this up. We'll slap the case back on it, tighten down the case, and check and see if it shifts. And if it shifts, we should be in good shape. So we'll go from there. We'll get all this clean, and then we'll get back to you.
Alright, so now we're going to clean inside of this motor, and we gotta clean all this oil out before we put the cap back on, and we're gonna take all this black stuff off right here and get all this oil out and clean this up.
A lot of that you can peel off, yeah, like you just did. Hold on before you go any farther. I want to show these guys something here they may not know about.
Alright.
When you take this cap off, there's a screen, and it's right here. I'm gonna pull that out. Well, if it'll come out, there it goes. If you ever have this case off for any reason, you need to go ahead and pull this screen out and clean all this crud off of here before you put it in. Cause look right here. Actually, this one's so bad, we may just order one. When I order the gaskets and stuff for this, we may just go ahead and order one of these screens, because this one's pretty bad. I mean, look here, and you can see the evidence of where water had came in around that seal. And I'm assuming they just didn't get the seal. The gasket on it was decent, but they didn't. I don't think that they didn't torque these bolts. I never really broke torque on these bolts, and I mean that's a common mistake. And don't get me wrong, this spring right here, the way it was put on, that's a common mistake. That's a mistake I can make, or you can make, especially if you tear something like this apart, and then it's got to be apart for weeks while you wait on parts. It's very easy to put something in backwards, or leave something out, or hook a spring in the wrong place. These are just common. That's just common when it comes to these. So I'm going to get you to, we'll try to blow or clean out as much of that screen as we possibly can, and see what it looks like after we get it clean. Now it does go back in here this way. Slides right back in them grooves and then pushes in. Man, when it gets in there though, she's in there. So, yeah, there's something else for you to clean.
Alright.
Alright, go ahead there.
Alright. Just get all that dirt off.
We'll take our air blower and blow the rest of it off right there.
Yeah.
Just low pressure on that. Let me go ahead and get you something to scrape the rest of that gasket off too.
Oh, that's disgusting. What the? Man.
Here's your scraper. It's not the best in the world, but
Probably don't be better.
better than nothing, I guess. You know, this is a blade, so be very careful with that. And don't scrape that screen with it.
Oh.
Scrape the block right here. This we're going to use air. That screen I can see through that screen pretty good.
Yeah.
And it don't, you got it pretty
dirty.
clean. You can see right there how good you can see through it. There's still a little bit of dirt on there. We'll take an air hose and some light air pressure and try to blow it out. This screen right here might be able to be saved. So that's good news. Anything you can save you don't have to replace, that's good news.
I wish we had something better to soak this oil right down in here up more.
Just get as much of it as you can out of there.
Yeah.
And then start help you peel this off right here.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people won't use a gasket, they'll go back with RTV, but when we put this thing back together the final time, I'm gonna have a gasket. I'm gonna order a gasket. They have used a little bit of RTV on here. Let me get right there. What is that? Pull it out of there. Don't let it get off in there. I'm basically just using an old paint scraper right here.
Get that right there.
Alright. You know, paint scraper works pretty good on this. Then we will go back with a piece of Scotch-Brite, polish that up good so we get a good seal when we go back with the gasket. Yeah, you can see that that's not been baked on there. It's not been on there that long.
You want to switch sides?
Yeah, we switch sides. You want to dance? You get out of the way of the camera so people see what we're doing.
Yeah. After sanding this, I'll probably just get all the west black off.
That piece right there.
West of that black.
There it goes. Alright. Now there's that. I'll tell you what I want to do now. What I think would be a good thing to do. Go ahead and get the case that we took off of this thing down there and clean it out. Wipe all the inside out. Show these guys what the inside of that case looks like and then wipe it out, and we can just go ahead and put that case back on for now. Run some bolts in it and set this thing upright and see if it'll shift the gear.
The new one or the old one?
The old one.
Okay.
While he's doing that and showing you guys that, I'm going to take and blow the screen out.
Look at that. got all that water in it. It had water.
Tell them why that water's in there.
Yeah, it probably got in there when because it was probably sitting out there after you put it on it. And it's like when you sit it out there, like all the water goes in there, and it basically turns into this, and it's just a mess. I'm trying to.
Because the boat wasn't tight.
Yeah, and the boat wasn't tight too. Yeah. And that's what happens, and you don't really want that to happen. You gotta clean it out if you take it apart. So, if you do this, make sure to put the screws in there tight and good, so that won't happen. And yeah, and Dad's coming back with the
screen.
The screen, yeah.
Well, that screen came pretty clean. I believe we're gonna run with this. I've run with a lot worse, that's for sure. However, what I do want to do now, put my glasses on right here so I can see in there, and I'm going to take my screwdriver and wrap the rag around it and just kind of run this around. I'm not scratching. I'm just running this rag around, trying to clean that cavity out good. Because you don't want to get in there and start digging with a screwdriver and scar that up. Okay. Put this screen back in. The screen looks really good now. I didn't think it was going to turn out that good, but it did. It really turned out decent. Alright. Get your groove down. Okay. Get that case cleaned out right there, Axel, and we will we'll put it back on there and see if she'll shift the gears.
Alright.
You're rolling.
Alright. So I'm just clean this out, get all this oil out and all stuff that was in there. And you don't want to hit the spring, it'll come out if you hit it or anything like that. And yeah.
You're about ready to ride this thing, ain't you?
Yeah.
You ought to know everything about it by the time you get it back together and ride it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're trying to take these things up in the mountains and ride them for a day or two and maybe do a little camping out up there.
Yeah.
Tell them about your dirt bike.
Oh yeah. So my dirt bike was the first actual like thing I've ever had to actually ride, like, and so we've took it up in the mountains to ride, and it's really good. One time I got it stuck in a mud hole, and Dad and his friend had to go up there and get it out because it was way down deep in the mud.
And you was too.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah. Yeah, I need those. These
Get
are
that good and clean.
Yeah, I'm getting this.
Make sure you're careful with that scraper now. Don't want to get cut.
Yeah.
Always scrape away from yourself, and don't scrape toward your hand either.
That's what I was doing.
There you go. Remember, on this channel, safety third. Or first.
Yeah,
Safety
yeah.
first. We're just having a good time, trying not to get hurt. And that don't have to be super clean because we're not running that case. We're just merely wanting to just stick this on here, tighten this up, and see if this thing's actually going to shift like it's supposed to.
That should be all the, well, no, right here. If I can get it off.
You get it? Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Alright.
Let me go back over it with this rag one more time.
The only reason that he's really cleaning this thing out like this is because we don't want any more of that watery oil in there.
Oh, we have to clean it out again.
Right.
And you don't want to do that.
Easy with that.
Yeah, no. I'm just making sure.
That arm and that spring that rides in there, and that's one reason we have the motor off on the table and kicked up at an angle, so that thing don't come flying out of there.
You don't want that to happen.
And if it's your first time taking one of these off, it's probably always a good idea to do that anyway, because you could have parts fly out as you take that case off, and if they're doing that, then you're not going to know where they go back.
That should be
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to reposition you here, and we're going to put that case on.
Yeah.
Let me raise them up here a little bit. Going up, it's like an elevator.
Yeah.
Alright.
Goes on like that.
Yep. Hold on, we got to make sure that we get this. See, that spring's got to ride right there.
Yeah.
It rides right inside that housing right there. I don't like the way it feels. I want to work it back off. Grab that air cleaner. Put it over there so we don't get any oil on it. Grab a bolt. Alright, we got the case set on. Now what I was saying was, this case, if it feels funny at all going on, do not force it. This is aluminum. It'll break very easy. Just take it off, try to figure out what the problem is, and go from there. Go ahead and hand me a bunch. You can start putting them in on that side. Oh, wait a minute. We got one that is shorter than the rest.
Right here?
Yep, and we've got to find that one.
No, not that
Line
one.
it up with these because all these were the same size except for one. So pull them all out of there. Find that shorty and let's put it in first.
It's right there.
That's it. And it goes right there. Okay, start putting them in your side there. And I'll start going down my side.
Alright.
And I'll get this. Start a couple of threads by hand. I don't recommend starting these with not even a 1/4 inch drive because you never know. I mean, you could get them in there just a little bit crooked and that'd be all she wrote. You strip one out or cross thread it. And you don't want to do that. So we'll get all these in and then we'll get them tight and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to run the screws in. I'm going to go in a crisscross pattern. Even though we're not putting this on for the final time, I still don't want to crack the case or potentially crack the block. So, and I mean, I'm not going to put these on super tight because we're not using this case. So I'm just going to run them in and snug them with my air ratchet. Now I'm using a 1/4 inch drive air ratchet.
You gotta get this one.
Okay. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, when you remove this case, you have to take the oil filter out. Because right inside here, inside the oil filter, once you pull that filter out, there's a hidden bolt back in there. Got them all about. I'm gonna go around and double check and make sure I got all of them. We'll start right here on this corner. Tight. I didn't have all of them. That was tight. 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 Alright, now we're ready to put this thing down here and put the shifter on. But first, let's get all these tools off because we did spill some oil back the other side of the block. I want to clean that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so got the case back together here. Like I said, it's not staying. Just on for testing purposes now. Got the bench cleaned off a little bit. We're going to spin this baby around right here to where we can see the shifter here. And let's see here. I'm going to need a 10mm wrench. And pull this off here just a little bit. Alright. Work that on right there.
You mean
Yeah, go ahead and tighten that up right there.
Oh, this is a wood.
Go ahead and just tighten that up a little bit. Easy, 'cause that motor's just sitting there. Now, don't put the gump to it. Just
What?
tighten it up. Don't put no gump on it, because we're going to take it back off. Got her tight? You get her tight there, let me know, and we'll try to give her a shift by hand.
Alright. There you go.
Good?
Yeah.
Alright, let's see here how it does. Rotate that shaft right there.
Oh, it stopped.
That's a gear right there. That's reverse. Okay, now I'm going to shift it up. That should go to neutral. See if it'll spin at all.
No. Try to... It's like stuck. Oh, sorry. It's like stuck. I feel like...
Looks like we may have a few more issues other than just that port being in there wrong.
It's clogged up somehow, like where it won't move after it gets in one spot. Now.
Okay, so now we are going to have to take this case back off and go back in there and see what the problem is. Nope, we have nothing. It is in reverse, however. That shift port could be bent. Now that would cause this. So we'll go back in, pull out all of it, and really give it a good look. Go ahead and take that off right there, because it should shift, by hand. All right, I got it. Go ahead. Well, we was hoping it would be that easy, that it's just a spring, but